Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC Show.
Good day, ladies and gents. I'm Emilio A. Colon, and welcome to the EAC Show, coming to you from sunny South Florida. I'm joined by Marcus Smack with me on this episode 33. Normally, we have UCF activist, overall sports enthusiast, the big one, Cameron Dinner, with us. But unfortunately, Cameron will not be joining us anymore. He might come back on a limited basis during college football and football time. On the EAC Show, we really do appreciate everything that Cameron has contributed to our show from the beginning. All the stuff that he's done on social, all the stuff he's done prepping, all the stuff that he's done with every episode from episode 1 all the way up to episode 32 that he finished on. We really do appreciate it. You're going to be missed. It's only temporary, though. Like I said, he's going to be joining us eventually sometime in the future on some college football, NFL stuff. He just has some other obligations, and I totally respect and accept his decision because like he said, he doesn't want to half-ass do anything. So, and I don't want anybody to half-ass do anything as well. So I appreciate everything that Cameron has brought to this show, his effort, dialogue, his funniness, everything, you name it. And Cameron, you're definitely going to be missed. Now, I think you agree too, Marcus Mack.
Yeah, that's definitely a fact, Cameron. We're definitely going to miss you. Yeah, because now it's my turn now.
So just like anything else, Bill Belichick will tell anybody, once a man goes down, somebody has to step up. So right now we got Marcus Smack with us on this episode 33 of the EAC Show. Marcus Smack, what's going on, man?
I'm happy to be here, man. I'm happy to be here. We made it to 33, Emilio.
33. Patrick Ewing number 33. Shout out to Marcus Smack. If you guys are not watching on YouTube, I'm decked out in my Jets gear, and coincidentally, Marcus Mack is decked out in Oakland A's gear. He got the hat on, he got the jersey, he looking sharp.
Yeah, man. I'm really a sports attire guy. I'm more of the sports attire than actual sports, which is such
fool the hell out of somebody.
Yeah, you really would.
Style, you be with the Cubs, your Cubs jersey, the Raptors jersey. You be having all these jerseys and hats and stuff like that. You don't even know where they from.
Yeah, right?
Now, we got a pretty good show. Marcus, I know I'm not going to ask you too much because I know you haven't been able to catch episode 3 and 4 yet of The Last Dance. So I'll carry the majority of that. But, there was some stuff that went on over the weekend with the draft. And, The Last Dance was obviously last night, the Michael Jordan documentary that was on ESPN that everybody's been raving about. What did you end up doing this weekend, Marcus?
A lot of daddy-daughter time. It was a lot of daddy-daughter time. And my daughter has been going crazy about playing soccer because about this. Since this whole Corona thing, she hasn't been able to actually go to practice or anything like that. But, hopefully by, the beginning of next semester, she can start up. But I was actually outside. I'm beat right now because I was outside with her in the sun. I never realized how hard soccer players run. It's a real heavy sport.
Man. I mean, when she gets a little bit older, obviously she's gonna probably, if she plays soccer and plays the 90 minutes in a game, she's gonna run anywhere between 5 to 9 miles per game. Realize it.
Is it the same like 4 quarters like every other game or?
Well, it depends on what they play in. As they're younger, they do quarters, yes, to give them breaks in between. But as they get older, there is no quarters. It's just straight half. One half, second half. That's it. 45 minutes apiece. Get going. There's no stoppage.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts. It's nuts. I mean, but they don't realize it. Kids don't realize it half the time. They don't realize how much they're running during that
hours just going.
Well, where we're from down here in South Florida, they're going to open up some of the parks. I think starting Wednesday and Thursday, they're going to open up parks in certain recreational areas with some restrictions. So we'll be able to get out and put some of that soccer stuff to work. Once the parks really start opening up, people can play basketball and so forth and so on.
Yeah, and what's so crazy with being a dad, I'm not, everybody knows I'm not a big sports guy. So now I'm coming outside running around with my daughter with 2 left feet trying to play soccer, trying not to look crazy. I'm like, come on, baby, let's run these drills. And it's like, she's no good, I'm no good, so we right there with it.
Hey, but 2 negatives make a positive, so 2 no goods create something positive.
Yeah,
the positive part is that you're out there trying to make it happen.
Definitely.
And shout out to everybody out there that's putting in that extra time with their children, because that's extremely important, man. I'm literally enjoying the time that I have with them, and going outside and playing with them, because sometimes so busy with everything that's caught up in the world that you don't really get that time to do that. So right now with all this quarantine and the pandemic, that has literally put an emphasis on family and family values more than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how was your weekend, man? How did you do?
It was good. I mean, it was really sports driven, a lot of sports. I had a lot of stuff on the draft. I had to do a lot of work with that and making sure everybody's grades for teams wise, because this whole show was supposed to go in another direction. But when Cam called us today and told us that he would be no longer with us because he had to focus on something else, I had to change the direction of the show to cater to, you know, yourself and be able to prep you on this or whatever it may be and help you out through this a little bit. But other than that, everything else is okay. I mean, I have some stuff that I have to talk about with the draft, with, you know, the Green Bay Packers and how we feel about what they selected and what they did in the draft. And mind-boggling to me that, you know, they need a wide receiver. They have so many picks in the first round. I mean, in the rounds of drafts they have, and they don't end up getting one. It's just, to me, it's just really asinine.
Which team is that?
Green Bay Packers. That's Aaron Rodgers' team.
Green Bay?
Green Bay Packers is Aaron Rodgers' team. So, I mean, they needed wide receivers. They didn't pick no wide receiver. They pick up a quarterback. They pick up a running back. Those are two positions that you already have solidified on your team. It just looked really, really, really asinine for them to do that. I don't know whether or not they believe in building a team around Aaron Rodgers anymore. I think they just want to build a team, period, overall. Some people are sitting there saying that team specifically is spoiled. Their fans are spoiled because they've only had two quarterbacks in 30 years. And now they're hoping that this new kid, Jordan Love, they drafted would be the third quarterback for the next 45 years because they've been blessed to have quarterbacks in that position that they don't have to worry about. So, I mean, it's back and forth on that a little bit. But in my opinion, I feel like the Green Bay Packers should have went with a wide receiver. They didn't. That's something to talk about on another day. But also The Last Dance. So The Last Dance, episode 3 and 4 was last night. It was about Michael Jordan's documentary that everybody's been talking about, Marcus Mack. I know, like I said, you haven't had a chance to watch it. Hopefully you get a chance to watch it. But it's just insane to see what some of these guys are really, really going through. Like, shout out to Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman, and not to spoil it for you, but Dennis Rodman is the realest off-the-wall character ever, because for him to do some of the stuff that he was doing in this episode, Marcus, he literally took a vacation during the season to go to Vegas for 48 hours.
Yeah.
They granted him permission to go. He stood out there for 80 hours. Like, Michael Jordan had to come pull him out of his hotel bed with Carmen Electra that was in his bed. Like, literally, I go, yo, get up. Come on, let's go. Let's go back to work.
Yeah, I mean, in those days, I was definitely very, very small in those days. But everyone knew about Dennis Rodman's his antics back in those days. He was like, what is the equivalent of him today in sports?
Oh my God, I don't necessarily think there is one, because it's different times. Like, even as wild as he was, everything that he did, he couldn't get away with today. First off, he walks out of the arena with a beer in his hand, jumps on a bike after finishing that beer, so you're already getting DUI for that.
Yeah. Drives
off, flies to Vegas, goes on a 48-hour hiatus in Las Vegas with Carmen Electra, got married there, all that type of stuff. He didn't even report back. Michael Jordan actually had to physically go to his room and get him to come back to play for the team. Could you imagine if that happened today between Twitter, Instagram, all the social media platforms? He would be fined. First of all, he would have got fined for the drink. Then he would have got fined for the DUI. Then he would have, like, for not reporting, he would have been fined.
Back then, you had just media. There was no social media. So now you're gonna get caught up because 9 times out of 10 you're being posted yourself, and then everybody else that's watching. Because now it's just not a media platform. Now everybody has a camera, so you're being posted everywhere.
Absolutely. I mean, it showed that, you know, I think Phil Jackson was not only was he a great coach, he also was a manager of men. Because for him to put up with that type of stuff that Dennis was putting the team through, and not really go overboard on it or discipline Dennis like that in any way, shape, or form, like heavily, I think it shows, like, you know, you got to let this guy loose a little bit in order to get the best out of him, you know?
Tons of character on his end.
Yeah, tons of character on his end. I mean, Michael warned him. Michael was like, yo, don't let this guy leave, because if you let this guy leave, we're not going to get him back. We're not.
You know, with that, in mine, Chicago was like a family. It was really like a family. You know what I'm saying? When you had these players with so many different personalities, big personalities. You know what I'm saying? That can be amplified on that level in that time. Right now, it's so easy for your life to be amplified because of social media. But back then, for people's lives to be amplified on that level, even though it was in sports, so everybody's watching, even though it's in sports, for them people that have those big personalities and for it to be amplified, that family was, it was really serious. Can you imagine what practice was like for them guys?
I think the reason why Phil Jackson put up with a lot of the stuff, because Phil Jackson considered himself, back when he played, he considered himself a character like how Dennis Rodman was back in those days. See, Phil Jackson didn't see himself as Michael Jordan or Scottie Pippen. He was more relatable to Dennis Rodman because he was that character. It was said in the documentary that Phil experimented with acid, you know what I'm saying, in those days, back in the days when he was a player. So to understand some of the things that Dennis was doing or Dennis was trying to do, he was more relatable to that than he was to Jordan, because Jordan was on a different stratosphere. Jordan was on a level that's global, above. Everybody knows who he is. Scottie Pippen is the guy right underneath that. And then you got Dennis Rodman, who's like the drunk uncle in your family that everybody know. Everybody has that drunk uncle in your family. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has it. He's the uncle that you got to hide the beers from all the time, put a lock on the refrigerator. Then you got that one uncle that starts getting too drunk, gives him a sip, and it turns into a damn shit show. That's what Dennis Rodman is. And the good part was that Phil Jackson didn't put him in a corner. Phil Jackson accepted him for what he was.
And let him grow.
I let him grow. Just let him be the best, because that was the only way you were going to get the best out of him. And I think they understood that, because when they asked Scottie Pippen on how Dennis fit in when he first got there, he was like, yo, Dennis Rodman fit like a glove, like a hand in a glove, literally. There was no problem. There was no issues from the beginning. So, I mean, the episode was really good. I don't want to spoil it too much for you. But other than that, The Last Dance and basically the draft, like I said, the Green Bay thing is just still mind-boggling to me, and I don't understand it. And a couple other teams. Oh, shout out to the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins did really, really well in this draft. A lot of people are believing in them now with their team and what they did. They literally got better at every position. Posted it on IG, shouting Brian Flores, their coach, and their GM, Chris Greer, who did an amazing job selecting players. They are going to vastly improve next year. So shout out to them. I also posted, I know you saw it. Go ahead.
I hope so, for the sake of all the Dolphins fans we got out here. Now, mind you, I'm not really like the big NFL guy. I'm more NBA. I like NBA. But I always talk smack to my friends.
They're gonna be good. They're gonna be good.
I call them a tuna. So big shout outs to the tuna.
They're gonna be good. So I think they did. I think they won the draft actually more than anything else. So shout out to them. I know you also saw Marcus Mack, for you and our viewers on our Instagram post, the EAC Show. I posted a poll on Jerry Krause, which was basically the GM of the Chicago Bulls at the time. And Jerry Krause is one of the only GMs other than Bill Belichick, and I stand corrected, other than Bill Belichick, because Bill Belichick for the New England Patriots, he plays coach and GM. So other than Bill Belichick, Jerry Krause is the only GM in sports to take credit to be able to say he has actually won 6 championships. And I put a poll up on Instagram, and it was basically saying, is Jerry Krause a genius or an asshole? And out of the votes, it finished off like 70-something to 30 or 75-25 that Krause was a genius. The fans felt that Krause was a genius just because, he might have riffed with Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan might have picked on him a little bit here and there, or him and Phil Jackson didn't see eye to eye. He didn't draft Michael Jordan, but he put the pieces around Michael Jordan to be able for that team to become what it was. And that's something that you can't take away from him at all.
Which made him a genius. But here's the question. What made him, because it's obvious that he's probably a little bit of both. So what made him an asshole?
I mean, obviously, he was depicted by the character in Space Jam, who was played by Danny DeVito, the Monstars agent who smokes a cigar. That's Jerry Krause in the movie Space Jam. But what made him a little bit of both was his excessive compulsive disorder of trying to constantly having to prove himself. So constantly people telling him he couldn't. He's like, no, I can. And even got to a point where his own players were trying to tell him, yo, dude, you can't. And he's like, no, I will. So that was always something in him. And shout out to Jerry Krause, because when you watch episode 3, Marcus, and you see them, or episode 3 or 4, I forgot which one it was, and you see him do his little dance, you could go look it up. His little dance is hilarious. He was on the team playing behind Scottie Pippen doing his little white boy jig dance. Yo, it was hilarious. Like, it's crazy. It was funny as hell. But Jerry Krause is an evil genius. Put it that way. That's the best way we can put it. He is an evil genius. He knew what his job was to do, and he was so good at it that when everything was good and kosher, he was still on to the next one. Almost kind of like Bill Belichick. You know how Bill Belichick rubs people the wrong way?
Yeah.
It's exactly how Jerry Krause was doing. He was rubbing people the wrong way to the point where his winning it wasn't just enough. He needed more. Like Phil Jackson gave him 6 championship rings, and he's like, all right, I need to replace Phil. And you're like, what? Like, Phil just won you 6 titles. How are you replacing Phil?
You know what? I definitely got to check out that series, because it sounds like the Chicago Bulls in that era. Every piece of the Chicago Bulls was epic.
No, yeah, of course. Of course. Absolutely. I mean, also Jerry, it's weird because somebody like that, you can't, the same way like Dennis Rodman, you can't box Jerry. If you box Jerry Krause as a GM and not allow him to do what he needs to do, it's not going to be as effective. It's not going to work. Put it this way. There was a coach before Phil Jackson became coach by the name of Doug Collins. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals and lost. Jerry Krause fires him. Like, you're one game away from going to the finals. Jerry Krause fires him and replaces him with Phil Jackson. And people are like, yo, what the heck is going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, what just happened? But no, but what ended up happening is it was better for the team. Jerry saw it. He knew. And the team ends up going to the finals the next year. They end up winning the finals. That's the mentality. Like, no one understands it. That's something you can't lock up and hinder. You lock it up and hinder, it's going to explode. So when people sit there and say that he doesn't get a fair shake or he wanted more credit, it's because he deserved more credit.
How long was he over there?
Dude, he stayed, after they won the championship, he stayed to like 2005 or 3 or something like that. He was there for almost 19 years. He was there way longer. Like, he was there beyond it. He's tried to rebuild the team, and unfortunately, because of some injuries and stuff like that, that ended up happening to a few other people after they left. Like,
where did he start?
He started with them. He started in baseball and transitioned over to basketball.
Okay.
Because the baseball, the owner of the Bulls also owns the White Sox in baseball. He owns both teams. So, the last year, and this is the money thing for you, Marcus. The last year of the contract for Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Phil Jackson, and Dennis Rodman, sorry. So they weren't going to renew Phil Jackson. Jordan was going to cost them like $36 million a season. Rodman was making like 10, probably would have wanted 11, and Scottie Pippen was due for a raise. So the way they looked at it is the Bulls are like, yo, we're not spending $80 million in 19 whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's not happening.
Because
no chance.
$33 million, even now, a season is a ticket.
Yeah, of course, without question. I mean, is he worth it? Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. But from a standpoint of, if you look at it from a business standpoint, operating costs, shareholders, these guys are like, yo, we don't want to do this. We want to win championships and still be extremely profitable and have money in our pockets. We don't want to win championships and be going, pretty much the next month or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That they don't want to do that. They don't want anything to do with that. So, The Last Dance exposes a lot of stuff, but The Last Dance also needs to give a little bit more credit to the man that constructed these 6 championships, because they haven't won one since. So, I mean, I really do feel like he's an evil genius and he deserves more credit. Michael Jordan is the best player in the world. Scottie Pippen is his number 2, and Dennis Rodman was great at what he did. But without Jerry Krause, I don't think any of that is possible at all either.
Yeah, because without Jerry Krause putting those pieces together, it's like Voltron. No piece was better than the other, and they all came together. The leg wasn't more important than the arm. The head wasn't, it wasn't more important than the body. Everything had to come together, which was
crazy. Crazy you bring that up. What was your favorite piece of Voltron? I actually had Voltron when I was a kid, so that's why I asked.
And you know what? Voltron is definitely before my time. I think Voltron and Thundercats was before my time. And I only remember it because my uncle used to always watch it. You know what I'm saying?
Classics, man. We always love those classics. Those classics are good. So this part of the show is brought to you by our sponsor, ElCubanoSandwichShop.com. Use the promo code EAC and receive discounts on online pickups or delivery orders. Enjoy a cafe con leche or that natural pre-workout shot of that Cuban coffee to start your day. The daily lunch specials and their steak sandwich is next level. Once again, use the promo code EAC. That's ElCubanoSandwichShop.com or 954-906-5110. Remember, use the promo code EAC, and that's El Cubano Sandwich Shop in Cold Springs. So now, Marcus Mack, I know we got Social Media Mondays. Today's Social Media Mondays on episode 33. We got a couple topics that I've been sending you over the weekend. So why don't we get into topic number 1 on Social Media Monday?
Okay, we're going to start off with Tony Kukoc talks about Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and The Last Dance.
Now,
we
Tony
Kukoc about that.
Say that again?
Nah, and we started off talking about that. So
Yeah. So basically, elaborating a little bit more on The Last Dance, Tony Kukoc came out and just basically explained his side of the story because nobody has gone through what he's gone through. So for you guys that don't know, Tony Kukoc was basically Jerry Krause's pick. He wanted Tony to come from Croatia. Tony was playing overseas, making a lot of money. He always was attracted to Tony, wanted Tony to play on the Bulls with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. And that rubbed Michael and Scottie the wrong way because Michael and Scottie were like, yo, why are you worried about this guy that's in Europe and why are you not taking care of us? So that's that evil genius mind that Jerry Krause had. And, you know, some of the, I guess, the bullying or like berating of Tony, it wasn't that they didn't like Tony. It was just that they wanted to take it out on Jerry Krause and Tony had to pay the price. So there's an infamous 1992 Barcelona Olympic Games where, you know, Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan took turns guarding Tony Kukoc in the championship game, and Tony Kukoc went 2 for 11, and he couldn't do a damn thing in the game because they just wanted to prove that, yo, this kid is not ready for the NBA. We all end up knowing that Tony Kukoc was ready for the NBA. He was a really good player, possibly a Hall of Famer. He might end up in the Hall of Fame because of what he'd done abroad and what he'd done with the Bulls. But Tony also tried to explain that the environment wasn't enjoyable. Like, players today would complain and cry about what he had to go through. And a lot of people on the team shout him out and say, look, Tony was great at what he did because he took it all in. Like, when Michael was beating him up or when Scottie was picking on him or whatever it may be, Tony just, like, he just knew, like, I got to earn my stripes. Like, I really didn't prove anything yet with these guys. So let me just keep my mouth shut and keep it moving. But he did say that Scottie, while Scottie would pick on him from now and then, that Scottie was also his favorite teammate because Scottie would pick on him like a big brother, but help him as well from day one. Like, if he was bad defensively and said he couldn't guard, couldn't guard a chair if he had to, Scottie was right there behind him to pick him up and tell him what he was doing wrong. So he was very thankful of that. So it's almost kind of like growing pains going through what he had to go through. So Tony Kukoc was very, very thankful and appreciative, but he also wanted to make sure that people understood, how we were saying earlier before the promo, that Jerry Krause did deserve credit for putting these teams together and, you know, bringing in B.J. Armstrong, John Paxson, Bill Cartwright, Will Perdue, Bill Wellington. The list goes on and on and on. Horace Grant, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Ron Harper, Steve Kerr. The list of names that is just on and on and on and on about the players that he ended up bringing in to help that team get better. So that's what basically what Tony Kukoc was saying. Marcus, you there?
You heard me?
What'd you say?
No, I said iconic names.
Oh, okay, yeah, iconic names, yeah.
I know there's a little delay.
So let's get into episode 2, Social Media Monday topic 2.
Okay, Isaiah Thomas regretful, Bill Laimbeer defiant for Bull snub in 1991 playoffs.
So basically what happened is Isaiah Thomas is extremely regretful because there's been a lot of damage on what ended up happening between the Bulls and the Detroit Pistons back in those days. So when the Bulls had finally got over that hump and beat the Detroit Pistons to go into the finals and play the Lakers, the Detroit Pistons walked off the court and didn't shake the Chicago Bulls' hands to show sportsmanship. Now, the Bulls had just previously lost the year before that and the year before that to the Detroit Pistons. And Michael Jordan, after every game, stood afterwards, shake their hands, did press conferences and interviews telling them, hey, the Detroit Pistons are better than us. We can't beat them right now. Hopefully we beat over that hump eventually, but not right now. And Isaiah Thomas and Bill Laimbeer had decided that they were going to be the types to just walk off the court and not shake hands. And Isaiah was trying to explain that was something that was done to him, passed on to him from when the Celtics did it to them. And there was video to prove this, but Michael felt like it just rubbed him the wrong way because I didn't do that to y'all, so y'all shouldn't do that to me. What Isaiah didn't realize is this would come back to haunt him because Isaiah was left off that amazing 1992 Barcelona original dream team that featured so many talented players. I mean, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Chris Mullin, Christian Laettner was on the team. There were so many players on that team, and one of the best players in the NBA, Isaiah Thomas, was left off. And the reason why he was left off is the rumor is that Michael Jordan told the people that were in charge of USA Basketball that I'm not playing in this Olympics if you put Isaiah on the team. So if you really think about it, now Michael Jordan got so much damn power that he can keep Isaiah Thomas off the team. So that's why Isaiah Thomas, looking back on it now, is regretful because he feels like he should have been on that team, and deservedly so. But be careful what you do to others because they'll come back and haunt you, and this is a prime example. Now, Bill Laimbeer, he don't give a damn. Bill Laimbeer don't give two shits. He's like, yo, I'm not sorry for nothing. That's how it was done to us, and that's how we did it to somebody else. So shout out to him for standing up and believing in what he believed in. But Isaiah Thomas is backtracking a little bit, like, you know what? Now looking back on that, I shouldn't have did it. But he's only saying that because of all of the stuff that went on. Yeah, the backlash that went on, you know? Yeah. I mean, look, sometimes that's a prime example of be careful of what you do because it will come back to haunt you. And this is one of those cases where it came back to haunt him.
All right, so we excuse me. So we're moving on to topic number 3, which is the NBA pushes back its original plan to allow players to re-enter team facilities for voluntary workout by a week. So they won't be going back to practice in their respective arenas or practice spaces until May 8th because of the coronavirus.
Yeah, there was a target date for this Friday, which would have been May 1st for all the team to be able to go back in. But there's still some areas that they're like, nah, we're not gonna do that. You know, you got Golden State that's sitting there saying, nah, we're not gonna do that. I think it was Atlanta as well was complaining that they're not gonna do that either. So the NBA is trying to figure out a way to try to get these people players back into their facilities and start training to hopefully finish up the season. Nobody wants a canceled season. Nobody wants that. Same thing with all the other sports, Major League Baseball, soccer. Nobody wants a canceled season. They'll figure out a way to abbreviate the season to where they can finish it in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, no fans. You know, no fans at all. It's going to be kind of tough because, in all actuality, fans give you, especially that home and away field, fans give you that kind of like that emphasis to that oomph, that excitement to put you over the top. You know, you end up getting a really good hit, and then the fans get into the game, and the next thing you know, the pitcher's getting nervous. You know, now you take that home field advantage away in basketball and baseball and whatever sport. You take that all away with no fans. But it's going to be a while before fans can even remotely think about re-entering arenas or stadiums or anything like that, because you just don't want to risk the second round of spreading to come out with the coronavirus.
Yeah, I mean they are saying that it's going to be a second round, like it's a second wave of it, obviously because who initially and then people who caught. So, you know, but as far as with the players and the different teams, this is definitely going to define the way they look at the game for years to come. It's going to be a different energy for the beginning of this next 2020-2021 season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think certain certain sports won't have a problem with it because if you really think about it, if you play basketball, you go to a basketball court, you play 5-on-5 at the park. Who's really there other than the people that got next? Nobody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no fans. There's no nothing. You know what I mean?
But they're not looking at it like that. They're not looking at it like that. Like, LeBron James said when this whole thing first popped off, he was like, no fans. No, I won't be playing if there's no fans because that's what we do it for.
Yeah, but now LeBron James is backtracked from that because he knows that, like,
obviously, because the seriousness of the situation. It's like, okay, yeah, we do it for the fans, but we play the game because we love the game. Mm-hmm. And the bigger picture of this is we love the game. They love the game. We'll still play. We just can't have the fans in the seats watching us. Which I think we spoke about this a few episodes back, and it's like I really think that they should wait with them trying to still have playoffs or whatever. Obviously now because of laws that were passed, there will be no kind of playoffs, no anything. Atlanta or Georgia is like one of the first states to open back up as far as people being able to congregate in the same space. So I believe the Atlanta Hawks will probably be able to practice or hold their practice or whatever going on in Georgia. So we'll see what other states probably come after there. But for the most part, I think that like we said, there should be nothing going on right now except for practice, and they should wait until the season starts. As far as when does the MLB officially start back?
It was supposed to, I mean, they're looking for a target date, hopefully in June, because MLB is a little bit different. It goes so long into October that you could just play a shortened season. NBA is trying to finish their season in some way, shape, or form. I don't even think they really know how they're going to finish their season, whether they're just going to do like a couple games and just start the playoffs. I mean, they can't, but they'll come up with something creative to give to the fans. Because if you really think about it, there was, I think it was like 55 million people this weekend that watched the NFL draft, and that's extremely high numbers. So people know that people are fiending to watch something.
Yeah.
So,
but NFL has a nice grace period though. Like they have another couple of months before they got to start back.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, MLB is going to be okay. They'll play in some way, shape, or form. It'll be a shortened season. NBA wants to finish their season and prepare for next year and what are going to be some of the things they would have to go through. And, I think NFL is probably the only sport that probably will start with no hiccup in some way, shape, or form. Now, the problem if you run into the NFL is that the NFL is going to want fans at the games. And that's the biggest one. NFL reigns supreme. NFL is, big man swinging, walks in and people listen because the NFL does have a lot of people that watch those games. They reign supreme when it comes to all the sports in America. So I know NFL is a little bit different than baseball and basketball, but I think they're going to want the fans more than anything else. So hopefully I think NFL starts in September. Hopefully by September they can have this figured out.
The actual season starts September. Preseason starts when?
Yeah, a little bit before that, like a month before that.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to the fourth topic for the day, which is Aaron Gordon uses Amelia almost forgot about this one. Yeah, this is the last topic because we get the topics and then I read it off. So Aaron Gordon uses diss track to call out Dwayne Wade. So
right. Tell me what you thought about it.
I mean, I love music. I love and I hate to judge it. I hate to say it. I love the creative process. Like, wow, you did great, Aaron. We loved it, but stop. Don't do that. Don't do that. Listen, there was a full video and everything. Like, there was a video. He had the money. He said, hey, let's blow it. There's so many guys out there that's rapping. They have a full-fledged career goal set. Like, hey, I'm going to be a rapper. I'm going to be an artist. I'm going to drop this music and make these visuals and marketing campaign, and I'm going to go independent. This guy went the whole way with a video and everything.
The funniest part of that video is when he takes the wine and he pours it in the glass and he starts twirling it in the glass. Like,
what was that? Oh man! Oh God! There has to be a way I could pull that up.
I mean, shout out to Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon felt like he got robbed in the slam dunk contest by Dwayne Wade. The conspiracy theorist is just all sitting there saying it should have been a tie, and Dwayne Wade decided to give it to his Miami Heat former teammate Derrick Jones Jr. Hey, listen, you know what, Dwayne Wade, this is just kind of like the Isaiah Thomas situation. Be careful what you do because it will come back to haunt you. So basically what happened.
This isn't the first time something like this has ever happened. Who else has ever done something like this?
There's been plenty.
I think Shaq.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, Shaq and Penny had something going on when Penny came out with the little Penny doll, and it was Chris Rock, and Penny's sneakers were outselling Shaq's sneakers, and then Shaq came out with the commercial with the little Penny in the back. Right. He elbowed the little Penny. This has happened multiple times. Basically Shaq going at Kobe Bryant, Shaq going at Damian Lillard, or Damian Lillard going at. It's happened multiple times, but
right.
The funniest thing is that this is a trolling session to the fullest extent. And then Dwayne Wade comes out and says, "Yo, Aaron Gordon, I like the video, but you should have trademarked 9 out of 10 so you can make some money off of it." So he basically tried to troll Aaron Gordon for trolling him.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It was a little bit fun. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Dwayne Wade, because if he was 50 Cent, he would have trademarked it, and then that would have been his reply to him. For real, that's exactly what he would have did. That would have been a crazy business move for Dwayne Wade. Shout outs to him.
When I was watching the video, I just thought of a really, really low budget Tootsie Slide. Like, it was like Drake's Tootsie Slide when he did the video in his crib. Yeah. And then Aaron Gordon did the video in his crib, but it just looked like a lower budget version of, you know what I'm saying? So, Aaron Gordon tried to have a little bit of fun with it. It was something amusing or whatever it may be, but he did get robbed, and he wanted to express himself.
The last thing they want to do is say, well, let's do a one-on-one game. I think Dwayne Wade.
I think Dwayne Wade would have no chance against Aaron Gordon, in my opinion.
You don't think Dwayne Wade can take him?
No, Aaron Gordon's a monster. It's not even close. It's not even close. Well, guys, that's gonna conclude episode 33, Patrick Ewing episode. We appreciate the love and support. Make sure you click, like, subscribe, comment on YouTube. Make sure you leave a rate on all the podcast platforms. We appreciate all the support. Shout out to all the commenters that have been commenting on Instagram. We've been getting back and forth to you, going with the conversations. It's great voting on Instagram. We appreciate everything, the likes, the comments, and all that good stuff. Marcus Mack, definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely, man. Big shout outs to Cameron Denon. Episode 32 is his last episode until he returns. We appreciate that. I just wanted to end off by saying, today is Social Media Mondays, and somebody that's we brought up Shaq, somebody that's in sports, in the sports realm, that has a huge social media presence is definitely Shaq, but he's always been a character. I don't know if you got a chance to catch Shaq doing the Don't Rush challenge, but with DJs. It was fire. He did that. Man,
Shaq's mind is beyond our days. Shaq always sat there and said, "Listen, if I'm trying to promote a product, because of who I am, I could promote the product by just being funny, and then you'd be like, oh shit, that was this product." You know what I mean? Yeah. That's how he looks at it. So he looks at it like, look, I'm promoting Hennessy. I'm gonna promote Hennessy, but I'm gonna jump out the window doing it. You're gonna remember me jumping out the window, and you're gonna be like, yo, what was he jumping out the window for? And you can be like, Hennessy.
Yeah, he's definitely a marketing genius. He's definitely
without question. That's why he has what he has, and that's why he's big, great Shaq.
His markup for those for his Shaquille O'Neal sneakers was tremendous. I would have to look up the exact numbers, but I know his markup was way higher than other people's markup as far as profit margins go. And they was being sold in Payless.
Yeah, of course.
Everybody else shoes. Go ahead. What'd you say?
Yeah, he jumped on that train before anybody else really did.
Yeah. Everybody else's shoes was going for $150, $100, $120, $150, $180. He was selling sneakers for $40, $50.
Like that, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Out of Payless. And his markup was way higher. He made millions of dollars off of that. But yeah.
Absolutely. So it's going to conclude episode 33. We appreciate you once again, Cameron Denon. Thank you for everything you've done for the show from day 1 to day 32 or episode 32. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you check us out, episode 34.
Oh, Sugar Honey Iced Tea. It's the EAC Show.